So thank you for your time. I'm Dean Farrow. I work in the pre-sale side of SAP, and I look at the business analytics tools, so what was the business objects suite of tools around reporting analytics. This presentation will probably take about 15 to 20 minutes. If there's any time at the end, I'll open that out to questions, but what I've got for you today is just a bit of a flavour and an overview to kind of answer this business question, or this exam question as I've titled it. Something that Kirit asked me to do. You know, why do I need business intelligence tools when I've already got reporting inside BPC? Now, before we go into the depths of this question, and I won't be asking you to give me a 200-word essay about this or anything from a school perspective like that, I promise you that. Let's just talk about what business intelligence is, and I'll ask you, the audience yourself, what do you see as business intelligence? Can you give us some definitions out here? Again, there's no prizes, but there's no there's nothing bad if you don't get it right. Business intelligence, anyone?
Well, I mean, we have SAP BI in our company, but we use it more as a data warehouse. So we have BPC as a summary. If you want to interrogate that data, you go to BI to get the granular level of detail. So that's pretty much what we use it for.
Brilliant, thank you. Any other definition on BI?
You're referring to BI as in the visualization, presentation of data rather than the data warehousing storage, which is commonly used to be called BI. Now BW, isn't it?
And that's a really good point. And in fact, you're preempting what I was going to say. Have you seen my slides? Because if you look at BI and the business intelligence side, it is a lot to many different people. You're very correct in terms of it's data warehousing in certain instances, it's extraction and transformation of that data in others, it's reporting, it's the visualization piece. Business intelligence does cover a wide area, and it's one of those terms that does cover many different things. But for this instance, I'm going to use your example here really, in the idea of really allowing easy interpretation of information to help people make more informed business decisions. And whether that's through visualization techniques, whether it's through reporting, you know, that analytics capability, that reporting or business intelligence piece, I'm going to kind of focus it more on this narrower goal or this narrow interpretation here.
Everybody has a guess at a definition?
Sorry?
Everybody has a guess at a definition?
Maybe we'll take that offline for So BPC already has reporting inside, or business intelligence built into the solution itself. These are some samples of reports that you can use out of the box, as we call it. You know, you install the product and they're there ready to go, giving you information, in this case about a regional view across products for gross profit. And you can visualize this in a number of different ways. A bar chart is one way, stacked bar chart as we show in here is another. And even where you use Excel on a day-to-day regular basis, I can bring that into BBC and deliver a form of business intelligence inside that piece there. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, what if I want to produce business intelligence that is more than just the data inside my BPC system? I want to bring together information from operational systems, from enterprise resource planning systems, from project management systems, so that when I look at those particular costs, I can drill to the projects associated with those particular costs if I'm running a shared service centre, for example. So this ability to bring data together, to bring data in almost an umbrella piece around business intelligence is what analytics and the business intelligence tool can deliver beyond BPC. That's not the only thing, this is just one area that I'm going to focus in on. And if I've just taken an example of what I mean by that, I suppose we're all seeing dashboards in some form or another, and probably a bit dashboarded out in terms of the kind of capability that dashboard provides. And this isn't necessarily about to show you features and functions of our particular products, but a dashboard is a great vehicle for bringing together information into a single overview that you then deliver out to your customers, your people that want to use that information. Here, I'm a CEO. I can see financial information such as operating profit margin, liquidity, and other information maybe coming through that BPC system. But I also want to blend that with my sales information, my market share information, my HR information. so that when I start to use, I suppose, rather than a dashboard, this BI app, a focused set of information that I can then click around and start to then augment that BPC information with other information and other views inside that report. This is really important here because whilst some users do want that focus just on the BPC data, there's many users in organisations that don't, and I want to be able to look at how that contrasts with other departments, with other areas and other key parts that I'm monitoring and managing. Now this is a study we did a couple of years ago at an executive event around what they wanted out of their business intelligence. A lot of comments came through that, and what we've done is illustrated this into a word chart. Really, the size of the words illustrate the number of comments associated with that particular piece that we were discussing there. And these were around executives from a finance perspective, asking, what do you want out of your business intelligence system? What is it you want to get out of that? And some great comments here, being able to trust the data, being able to drill into the numbers, align what I have in terms of a view to the business itself and putting that in context with the business. A key thing that did come out of this was this idea that no one size fits all. Reporting can be seen for some users being, well, isn't that Excel? I've got Excel, that's all my reporting needs. And that's not the case, because for some users, I want to do a little bit more than what Excel can provide. I want to produce a dashboard like I've just shown and deliver that to my key managers, and I want them to use it inside PowerPoint, which I'm doing now. Don't care about Excel, don't care about anything else, just want my purpose to be that with the data. And that's one of the key things about business intelligence. Not having a tool that tries to do everything for everyone and almost does nothing in that case, because it's just too all-encompassing and can actually give the right kind of capability to the right person that wants to do that particular job. This Uber penknife may be great and it may look fantastic, but if I start using the pliers, I'm going to be kind of like, it's going to be a bit awkward, and the screwdriver is not going to be as good as a proper screwdriver that I may have here. So the point here is I'm trying to make is business intelligence is more than just bringing the data together. It's aligning the right capability for reporting to the right user and what they want to do with that set of information. And visualization, as you commented before, is one of those areas that is coming to the fore. Being able to visualize the data in a much more graphical form and much more visual form. This, seen so many times, bar charts are great in terms of their purpose, but it doesn't always bring the information to life. Here I can see in certain cases where maybe we're seeing high sales or high costs, but it's not kind of coming out to me. I can't see the issues come out to me as quickly as I'd like to as an analyst trying to explore why are costs high in certain areas. And visualization is one of those areas of business intelligence. Of course, there's more. There's just reporting and analysis and other forms. But visualization is one of those areas that's really coming through in today's fashion of business intelligence reporting. But it's not something new. Does anyone know what this is? Take a few minutes to digest. But any hazard of a guess at this? Don't worry if you don't. This is something that Charles Booth in, I think it was 1889, created around his analysis. So Charles Booth was a person that went around London and he was analysing effectively labour and poverty inside London. And he could have used a bar chart to visualise this, but the way he wants to bring to life the information, but more importantly to make it more understandable, is to use a map representation here. To bring to life in this area the streets of London near Lincoln Inn Fields, and colour code the poverty and where middle class Londoners are, where extreme poverty is, where crime is, using colours on this particular chart. So here I can see in black, that's the lowest class, that was semi-criminal, going to the very poor to where the red is indicated as middle class. There's a slight bit of upper class there on the top left-hand side, but the point here is using a technique to enable the recipient to understand that information as quickly and easy as possible, and to get the most out of that information. Yes, he could have used a bar chart and it would have represented figures in such a way that it would have told a story, but nothing quite like this. It really kind of brings to life the information. But this is where business intelligence can really help. Bring to life information from your BPC system and augment that with other systems and other data from project management systems, for example, or other ERP systems. And just here's a couple of examples. So, mapping techniques that we can bring to life in terms of costs that we have associated with different regions within our company. Visualize that on a map perspective. Use bubble charts to look at 3 different measures. So the X, the Y, and the size of the bubble indicate 3 different measures, and maybe that's our product. So looking at things like revenue associated with gross margin, associated with costs for all our different products. Immediately I can see anything to the far right-hand side. Yes, high revenue, high gross margin, that's certainly of interest. And if it's a bigger bubble, maybe that's high cost. Maybe I'd like to drill into that further and understand deeper where we're going with that. I'm just going to take a quick example in terms of a demo. Here, I did some work with a bank recently around their shared services area, where the bank has its department and they're providing services to other areas of the bank. You know, projects are going on, but whilst they have information in a BPC system, they've got a project management system also that gives the details about individual projects and the services and the customers internally inside the bank that we're delivering those projects to. So I've got to bring that information together. It's a great tool and a capability allowing you to do that, but more important, just to visualize that further. So here, a word chart that the size of the text illustrates one measure and the color of the text indicates another measure. Heat maps, or tree maps as they're sometimes called. The size of the square itself indicates, in this case, direct cost, and the colour indicates cost of sales. But enabling analysts to do this quickly and easily is one function that business intelligence should be all about. So if I want to create one of those bubble charts and I want to look at, in this case here, my cost of sales, and I want to bring into there my, actually let me just bring the pieces there, cost of sales, direct costs, and here gross margin. Let's just change that to a bubble chart and then look at that by different services that we are delivering out to the business. So quickly and easily the analyst, rather than firefighting with the data, rather than cutting and pasting the data around different systems and trying to bring that together in some other form, can do this using a single tool. And then start to add in some extra pieces around, well, how does that change on a month-by-month basis? So using animation techniques inside these tools to then show to the user that when I move from January to February, I can actually see the movement visually inside the data and understand where certain costs, certain services, are increasing, but actually plot where that is heading in terms of the animation techniques we've got here. So that was just another kind of slant on business intelligence, really, showing you the capability that I can bring the data together and visualize that in many different ways. And we're also seeing things like this appearing in business circles as well, infographics. I don't know if you follow Formula One, but I follow Formula One on the BBC. And every Grand Prix this season, they produce this little infographic, which is all about combining data with graphics to basically bring information to life. And rather than me having a load of text or a load of numbers to say how many wins Lewis Hamilton has in the last 6 seasons, you can actually visually show it with some photographs and some pieces around that that just brings the information to life. And this idea of infographics is, again, representing key facts and figures through business intelligence out to whatever audience you want to deliver that out to, whether it's on the intranet, whether it's up to higher management, whether it's up to the colleagues within your team. It's about making it easily accessible, but also easily interpretable for your end user audience. So to summarise, hopefully giving you an idea and a taste that reporting can go beyond the BPC side, and hopefully I've answered some of, hopefully more of the exam question that we set at the start, that business intelligence can be about bringing that information together and having tools that bring and link out to those different data elements and bring an umbrella piece out to the user where they can see and use that information in so many different ways. And focusing on the user, that the user wants different things for the purpose that they use that information for the type of person they are. It's finding the right tool for the right user there. So, in the last few moments, are there any questions that anyone has? If not, I'll pass it back to your host to answer any further. Yes, please.
Can you just talk about sort of timeline, latency, and sort of real-time data and those kind of things? Because I agree with you. It's about the right information to the right person, but it needs to be at the right time, so that it supports the particular challenge or the decision-making process.
Yes.
Can maybe just elaborate on
that idea of real time is something that is coming a lot to the fore in terms of what we're seeing our customers. Sometimes real time can mean different things to other people. In certain cases, I know customers where they have a view of their service level agreements, different KPIs that they have as a dashboard, as a screen, a TV screen, a plasma screen, so the whole office can see whether we're not hitting certain service level agreements throughout the day. Now they're thinking that's real time, but actually it's updated every 20 minutes. So you can deliver this information really for the purpose of the user. How do they want to see it in terms of that representation? Is it every day? Is it every week? Is it real time? Is there a real necessity for real time? Yeah, we can provide real time, and we can get the data to push information to the tool to see the information go up and down, almost like the stock market trader chart, as it every kind of second goes along, a new piece of data feeds into that graph and you see it going up and down. That can be delivered through our solutions here, but always have a kind of a question around that. What do people mean by real time? And it's really kind of fitting to according to that really. But yeah, absolutely. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. And sorry, I've got one
That's
more
all right.
thing. So clearly, traditional business intelligence is about what happened in the past.
Yes.
So, and tools like BPC are very good at allowing you to change assumptions and put input in and forecast data.
Yes.
But what about things like predicting the future, being able to look at the probability of something happening and be able to analyze kind of a predicted outcome?
Yes, that's a really good question. I try to kind of cut to 20 minutes as much as I can, but you're absolutely right. The reporting and business intelligence I've shown you here is what we call rear view mirror reporting. It's like driving a car with just the rear view mirror. You're always looking behind, you're always looking, what's happened in the past. If I want to look through the windshield, I look towards predictive capabilities to help me do that. And we've got a rich set of predictive capabilities that we can help with that. But to take some customer examples where we're looking at this is, rather than just the traditional, well, what's the forecast in the future, looking at time series prediction. There are instances there where we're looking at predictions based upon different characteristics that happen in the data. So if I take my project example, and we do however many projects throughout a year, some are high cost, some are low cost, some go over time, over schedule, over budget, some are within time. What is it about a project that goes over time, or goes over cost, or is successful? All those different characteristics or elements about a project we're capturing within our BPC system, within our project management system, within other systems. So the idea here is that you can use predictive tools to work out, and using classification or regression algorithms, to work out actually what are the key characteristics of projects failing. Is it down to a particular area of the bank? Is it down to a particular project manager? Is it down to a combination of a few things that is happening that makes those projects fail? So that idea of kind of prediction based upon probability is a big area that we're looking at, and in certain areas like oil and gas and pipeline maintenance, things like that, this idea of predictive maintenance is really coming to the fore. We've got all this data about our things in our organisation, this is one way of using that data so that we can start looking through the windshield rather than using the rear view mirror to always look at the past. Does that help answer your question? Thank you. Anything else before I hand it back to Kerry?
No? Great, okay. Dean, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you.